Here.
Holt. Mays. Weller.
All right, before I get a motion to approve the agenda, I'd like to add and move some things around, so I think I've got this right. I'd like to move items 5 and 6, the closed session, and any action that might result up under the approval of the minutes to be at the head of the agenda. Also need to add a couple items to the agenda after the monthly report. One is some potential changes in the renovation plan at the Regions building, and the other is an additional capital request. So with those modifications, could I have a motion to approve? Everybody get that?
No. We're ready.
You don't take shorthand?
No,
Who moved? Vicky
you're
moved,
not real good at longhand.
and Darrell's gonna second.
Yeah, I am.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the minutes, last meeting were published. Any additions, deletions, corrections, or
Sure.
Darrell, seconded by Mr. Mays, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to go into executive session in accordance with Chapter 5, Illinois Compiled Statutes 120/2, subsection C11, pending litigation. Motion, Mays, seconded. Holt, roll call please.
Ingalls.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes, Joe.
Okay.
If, yeah, thank you. Shut that up. All right, we're back in executive session, and to what was item 6 on the agenda, I would entertain a motion that the recommendation be made to the full board that Livingston County engage the Farnsworth Group to act as consultants to Livingston County in relation to the remaining ADA issues at the Law and Justice Center. I think I got all the words in. Motion by,
Do you want to set a number?
I don't want to.
Okay,
That's up to you.
that'd be my motion then, I don't care.
Okay, Darrell, second, Weller?
We don't have to answer for it, so.
Well, I mean, I think we'll get regular feedback, so we'll be able to monitor that.
Yep.
Elaine will see to that,
Yep.
I'm sure.
Got
Should we roll call?
it. It's up to you. Yeah, that's fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you.
That was Holt and Weller, right?
Yes.
That's
Okay.
Okay, if my marked up agenda is right, monthly report. Don?
Both of our man lifts are a big one, and the big one we had an issue with, we had to replace the joystick that we used to operate it, and they wouldn't repair that until they were inspected. And so, and they were both due for inspection, so we went ahead, had them both inspected. And he had a hand control with him, which was a used one, and he was gonna go back to Peoria and come back again. It was gonna be another trip to get a new one. I told him to go ahead and put the used one in. And from there, the public safety complex, we replaced the last mixing valve, hot cold water mixing valve for the women's side of the jail. Had the kitchen ansel system, was inspected and certified.
So the mixing valves is where you had some thin pipe, right?
Yep. I was gonna bring that with me and I forgot all about it. So I still got it up from sometime.
I've seen thin pipe before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had some carpet coming up in the law library at the jail. That was installed by us. We had a problem with that room echoing in there, and I come up with the idea of using carpet squares, and then we lined the whole thing with it, and it seemed to work. But once in a while, they'd come loose, so we had to re-glue them down. I had a drawer in the booking area, desk area, they had to repair. All the tablets they have for the prisoners, we seem to have we weren't supposed to have to be involved with them very much as far as repairing them, but we seem to be getting into it. They're real hard on the chargers and cords and things, you know. They use them for, I guess they can communicate at home with them. I mean, it costs them to do that. I mean, we make money off of these tablets.
Really?
But we, anyway, we've been getting involved more and more, kind of trying to take care of them. Had an intercom speaker to master control. It's a hand mic. It's on a flexible pipe. That was damaged. I happen to have one I saved from another area. We did some changing one time and we replaced it with that. Had a problem with the time clock for the outside lights on one side of the building, and we were able to go ahead and get that fixed. And the rest of it's been numerous floor drains plugged, and same way with toilets and things like that. That's an ongoing deal.
Is that like toilet paper that's shoved down in there?
Well, mostly in the shower drains, there's not that much pressure of water coming out, and it's mostly hair and things like that. There's just not enough water pressure there to wash it down. You got to go out and go in there. We dump some drain opener down there and flush it real good and get it running. And when you got that many people using one shower, it just.
So they're not putting something in there, it's,
Well, I did see today, one of the showers, they had toilet paper and something else that they cleared out of it. But I'll tell you, anything they can think of. The
Just
visitation,
for curiosity, how long can the hair be in jail? I mean, just have to be short.
whatever they want.
It can be whatever, so you're dealing with long hair on
Yeah.
some of these people.
Yep, some of it, yep.
Okay.
The visitation kiosk, we've been working on them off and on. A lot of times it's you gotta go and reset them and it's down. They all have a computer inside, locked inside a box, and you gotta get inside that and reset them. We've been getting more and more involved in that. And one thing I didn't write down for the public safety complex is we repainted the parking lot in the wheelchair parking space. We got that repainted and everything. Law and Justice Center, with this deal of turning the towers, lowering the fan speed on those towers, heats up the water faster and it causes faults in the chillers. And you get so many of them and it shuts that chiller down. And it took a while for us to figure out what was going on with that, but we got a hold of the company and talked to somebody that explained it to us. And what you got to do is get in there and clear the faults, and everything will get up and run again. But you get that water too hot. One day we had to drain the water out, let it run in. We'll do fresh water, cold water, to keep it operating efficient. It just works really hard this time of year. And
so are they saying we're running the fans at the wrong speed?
well, we're doing it because of the noise in the
I
courtroom.
understand that, but
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
you know why it was turned down, I just
Yeah.
didn't know, there might be I don't know what RPM is running at now, but if you took up 100 RPM, is that gonna fix the problem, or?
Well, yeah, you crank it back up, yeah, it does, it fixes the problem.
Well, and
Well, I thought maybe you could turn it up.
I don't remember all the details, but we went through a period of time there, it's been 2, 3, 4 years ago anyway, where noise was a legitimate issue. And it was because they were running both of them at or near 100%. And looked at a lot of things, and the one thing that was found, and I don't know the technical term, but the fill, which is in those units up above on the roof, looks like a big radiator, but there's plastic fins. They were coated with 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch of calcium.
Right.
And we went through a whole process. You can't mechanically remove it because you can't get to it. Had them acid washed and that wouldn't do it. We spent somewhere in the neighborhood of like $20,000 replacing all of that fill. I guess first question is, are they starting to
No.
line up again?
Nope.
Good. Good answer.
We've been up there, took them apart and checked them out. And,
Thank you. Because I'm not trying to diagnose, but,
well, the reason that happened is because they turned off that dolphin system and didn't put any treatment in it.
right,
They run straight Pontiac water through it. That's why it lined up.
but, yeah.
I just thought maybe the fans could be turned up some.
Well, that's what we do. We've been trying to find a happy median in there. And then mostly after jury, we crank them back up higher, and then we can operate pretty good. But,
Good.
let's see, we had a dimmer switch in the jury deliberation room that it went bad, and we went ahead and had a dimmer switch there. We replaced it. Those aren't regular dimmer switches. When I talk about a dimmer switch, that's a whole different program than the lighting system in there. Circuit clerk's swinging door in there, we had to repair it and adjusted it. Air handler 2 tripped out one morning. The place got pretty warm, and it tripped out after our morning check, and so it went a while not running, and the upstairs got pretty warm out there. And once it does that, it takes a while to bring temperature back down again. Front lobby security desk swinging door, we've repaired that. I think that's from people leaning on it. It finally wore the top hinge out on it, but one of the guys got in, he did a good job fixing it. Probation's had problems with the front door card reader after hours, and I don't know if we ever did find out anything on that. I went in there and I checked it periodically after 10 p.m. at night, and I had no problems. And I found nobody else that had any problems other than 2 people there, so I don't know if John ended up handling that from IT or what happened with it. But, and then had numerous sink and drain problems, as usual. We had a hot water circulating pump for domestic water. The pump went out, and we replaced it with a new one. Health and education, Ray hung a sound machine for IHR, also a picture for IHR, and they helped move a keyboard shelf, and helped cut some shelves. And we also had toilet repairs and sink repairs there throughout the building. Historic courthouse, Ray replaced the flag on the roof. July 10th, the outside elevator was not working. We found the key was turned off on it. Outside elevator is not working again. We are checking it out, and we can't find the problem. We're going to call Otis Elevator to come in. We have cold water circulating pump leaking. I will order a seal kit for that, and I will show a couple of guys how to rebuild those. All janitor cart had the wheels wore out and we ordered new ones to replace them. Ray trimmed the bushes around the H&E building, and there was a dead tree back there behind the H&E building, and they cut that down. And repaired potholes in the parking lot. In the highway department, we had a leak in the roof over their break room, and Ray repaired that. A few light bulbs replaced, cleaned the AC coils outside the condensing units at the highway department, and trimmed some weeds and trees out at the cemetery.
Don, how many of those tablets do we have over at the jail?
Boy, I don't know, it's a lot of them, seems like.
Does every single resident get one?
No, no, I'm not sure just how they work that. I think there's only so many per pod, and you have to take turns using them.
And what kind of communications do they have with the outside world? Is that all internet based through Wi-Fi or something, or?
Yeah,
So they can be making deals.
It's all recorded.
Yeah.
It's through an actual system.
Somehow we do have a monitor on
That
this?
was a monitoring system, they have to pay to use it. It's like video arraignment, but it's, or not video arraignment, but video visitation.
yeah.
But it's done through the internet. We did that when we started the housing with Cook County. So they didn't have to have their family come here in order to do their visitation.
It's actually better for us because,
We're
I've
not-
said this before, we only catch the dumb ones, we don't catch the smart ones, and we've caught a number of people making incriminating statements in writing now. so
Yeah.
it's helped us out.
But we make money off of that too.
Right,
Yeah,
and
reduce and they'll hang themselves.
initially,
So they pay
weren't
for the
those
time?
paid from some kind of an inmate fund or,
Yeah, the service is actually paid for by them, we don't pay for it.
no, but I mean the tablets when they were purchased?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the money that's collected goes in.
Is that
as
a
well.
mandatory thing now that,
No.
we have to provide them, or?
No, but you have to provide, visitation, and so if we don't wanna do that, then you're bringing in.
Yeah,
So, and this doesn't cost us any money, it's a benefit to them, we're collecting money, it's a benefit to us, so,
yeah. And we're not bringing that many more people into our community.
exactly,
That might not be
Large
desirable.
number.
exactly.
All right. Anything else, questions? Thanks, Don. There is a additional capital request form. You passed them out, I assume.
I did.
I'll let Don explain. I'm kind of familiar. I somewhat heard about, saw it.
We, some of our plumbing closets, they're hallways is what they are. And you have to get in behind there to repair the plumbing in the cells, jail cells. And that's the only way you can do it is to get back in these areas, and there's no room to crawl back in there. I mean, I've been doing it, but since then, things have changed. I'm a little wider than what I used to be, but we've been crawling over, we've been taking 5-gallon buckets, putting it in there and using them to step over this plumbing and stuff to get in there. And,
Next year.
some time ago, quite a few years ago, we replaced or installed a door behind the dryers because there was actually no access there. And this here will be similar to that, but it'll be a access panel. It won't be a full door. It'll be one big enough for a man to crawl through, and you can get to the plumbing then from the other end. And there's a lot less stuff to crawl over. I intended to have a picture of that and try to show really what you gotta go through. Some places I've gone in, I've had to take soil pipe apart to make room to get around to get in and to work on this stuff. And we got a bid from Bill Abraham to do this, and the whole complete job was like $2,752. And that's everything, the door locks, the whole works. I just thought it would be better for the future employees, maintenance people, that they're gonna have to get back in there to do that.
Well,
That way,
for some reason, I remember being out
firewall of
there.
a certain size.
Well, I tell you what, that's what I look at when I'm hiring people.
Get skinny guys.
That's crawling inside air handlers also. The doors and air handlers are that wide.
Yeah. I'd get in and not get out. I mean, I know just enough, for some reason, I know where this is at. I know when I was out there, somebody was showing me whatever. It needs to be done. My only question, and it's not just this one, we've had a couple others in the past. Apparently, we don't have any standard on what's capital in terms of dollars. I know
Rather
budgets
than a
are
regular
tight.
maintenance and
Pardon
repair-
me?
Rather than just a regular maintenance and repair project.
Right.
Well, generally, the only one I'm really familiar with, it's like, if it's over 5,000, and it's permanent, it's not, consumables, if it's over 5,000, it's capital, if not. In the private sector, it has a lot to do with taxation, but we don't have that issue. That's my only thought, it needs to be done. But I will also warn you that if this gets thrown in with the remainder of the capital, they're not all gonna make, as a member of the finance committee, the total sum of everything submitted is significantly more than our target. So, just because we approve it, doesn't mean it's gonna get done or get included.
Is this the only place that this applies, Don?
You mean like other areas?
Well, I can see where we've got other plumbing fixtures, urinals lined up, toilets lined up, whatever, and you've got a narrow space
Yeah.
behind them.
No, there's other places like that, but they're not as congested to get through as this one is. I don't
If you didn't
anticipate,
use this for storage, if you didn't put buckets in there, you still have problem getting in and out because it's just too tight.
that's the only way you can get over the plumbing.
Plumbing?
Yeah, is to step up in the pipe.
Like a ladder.
Bucket. Either that or you gotta take the, soil pipe all apart. I mean, there's threaded rods sticking out from the wall when they mounted those, plumbing fixtures on the other side of the wall. And there's all kinds of cables and water lines running through there. And every time you go through there, I mean, you're always knocking something loose or pulling a cable out or something like that. And then you find that out after you get out. Somebody tries to use it, then you gotta crawl back in there again to hook it up.
But this is the only place that you know of right now that,
It's the worst.
So this would come out of next year's money, not this year's money?
If we approve it as a capital, then it'll go in with all the other capital requests.
Yeah, the only thing is that you can't take any action, because we, just, found out about this today, somewhere, along the lines, we missed it. So,
not on the agenda.
yeah, and so it's not on the agenda, and it wasn't in with the other capitals that we had before. I'm just trying to think out of the box on your statement about that it's low and may not be capital.
Qualify.
Maybe we could, look and see if we can find enough within this year's budget to go ahead and do it.
I was thinking about that.
Just because there are some other areas, and then we can put it on the agenda next month if you and I can find it.
Okay.
So I think you can forward it with no recommendation to finance committee from here, or, just kind of direct us to bring it back if we're not doing that. Or if you're
Well,
okay with
finance is
that.
far enough along, they're gonna be,
Yeah.
probably Wednesday, starting to do some prioritization,
Yep, exactly.
so.
We need that, so, I need to send it to them no matter what, that way they know it's there, if we're going to do it in that
Yep,
capacity.
I'll be at the meeting and I'll explain and tell them we'll try to find room in the budget, but I think I'm also gonna recommend that we do set some kind of a standard, you know, where we don't have $1,000, $2,000
Maybe
things
projects.
submitted.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a nice way to avoid having to take it out of your budget.
capital is like a new building.
Capital is, yeah, I mean, this is permanent, I understand, but I think it's the dollar amount, not because of this one, just in general. There's a couple others out there that are pretty low dollars, and
Yeah.
my recommendation would be for the departments to find room in their budget.
I think that if we're talking about taking it out of the public safety complex, we may be a little bit tight doing that, but we maybe can come back for a recommendation to, adjust within the budgets and come back.
We've
that
always
way.
said, even though we budget by building, at the end of the year, we look at the bottom line.
Yep.
Knowing that we can,
We
I s-
probably can figure that out between the budgets and come back next
Yep.
month if that's the case, if you're okay with that. Is that what the committee wants to do?
all right, the other item on the agenda is a request from the tenant at Regions to change the scope and the cost of the work. Previously, we reviewed what they planned on doing, what they planned on investing, and we agreed to that as a part of the lease. And they're looking for some modifications, and I'll let Alina, she's talked to them, explain.
Yeah, so they went through the bidding process on the plans that they had submitted to you previously. The lease just requires that you agree to the modifications that are being made to the building. That's just been done at the committee level and not necessarily at the board level. There doesn't necessarily need to be any modification or anything like that, but I wanted to make sure that you don't have any concerns with what they're proposing here. There won't be any modifications to the exterior of the building, and I think that we weren't 100% thrilled with the exterior modifications anyway, so I think that that's probably a good thing. the other thing that we're not getting is a second, ADA accessible bathroom. They were initially planning on doing an accessible bathroom within the vault area, but the bids came back that they just don't have sufficient funds to do that, so they needed to, lower the scope. But overall, I didn't think that there was anything else within, the, proposed layout that would, be concerning to you. If they still are making one of the restrooms accessible, so it's an improvement to the building. You would have an accessible restroom on the first floor, which we do not have now.
So we're approving their change in plans, but we really are not, there's no additional cost to us.
Oh, no, there's no cost to you. It's just that a part, the lease that we have with them says that, that the county needs to review any changes to the building. Exactly.
Right.
And so before I tell them that it's okay to go ahead with these, I need to make sure that you guys are okay with the new.
Now, I read through this and looked through this just real quickly, and I think our intent all along was to make the building, you know, the restrooms ADA compliant and to get rid of things that shouldn't be there regardless of who the tenant is, because it was built as a savings and loan bank, whatever you want to call it, and to get it more in line with just an office building, and they're doing that. I'm not unhappy to see they're not doing the external things, because I don't think they did anything to improve the value of the building for us. I was interested, the original scope was sent to 15 contractors, and then Mosaic, the tenant, reached out to an additional 60 contractors.
Yeah, where do
I
they
can't
find
imagine
that?
how far out they have to
They
go
went
to
out
get
of town.
75 contractors. Of course, maybe plumbing, carpenter, I don't know,
Right.
but still. I guess I'm not concerned that they didn't get the best deal they could.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this again wasn't on the agenda, but I need to make sure that you're okay with this. If you're okay, I'll bring it back for official action next month, but they're ready to release new bids, as long as you're okay with it.
Is this all ADA stuff that they're okay with now, or with the one bathroom, or are they okay with all that stuff?
Yeah, they should be okay.
Should be.
Should be, and I'm still not an architect, so.
We can
I'm the last
hire
person to
somebody
ask.
to do the plans.
And the one thing that I would say about, what doesn't appear to be within here that I have not found is the upgrade of the lighting. So, we don't have that. Initially, we were looking at lighting upgrades throughout all the buildings, and we've done those kind of within our budgets. We don't have a significant amount of budget upgrades there. We didn't do anything with this because we knew lighting upgrades were part of this project. But it may be something we wanna look at going forward, just because you could catch the savings on the energy side.
Right.
If we did go ahead and do them, since they're not doing them as part of their project.
They were doing
Just something to
some.
think about it. They were doing some, but it looks like they've really backed off of the scope, and so I don't see them in this plan, so. Just something to think about,
Yep.
because we're the ones paying
Paying
the
the
utilities, yeah.
Is that something we can
Any-
make you do?
Probably not, I mean,
I assume
Strongly
silence means we have no issues, and they can
And
proceed.
they're putting plenty of, Cat 5 and, you know, cabling for information systems and everything. In these walls and plenty of outlets.
yeah, they're redoing the whole IT infrastructure, if you could see in there, they're demoing and then putting in new. Yeah.
Whether they're a long-term tenant or eventually a buyer or whatever, as far as a county building, what they're doing improves the value to the county as far as leasing or selling or whatever. As many of the deficiencies are one reason that we weren't able to sell, frankly. Public comment? Joe? Aye.
I don't have anything of significant. I wanna write a letter to Humiston, and I reached out to Dave from Farnsworth, because I feel like in order for me to go to Humiston, I need somewhat of a plan, a sketch of some sort, so they know what I'm talking about as far as replacing what we're losing in the current building. That's how we've always done it before. There's a new chairman, Judge Frobich is the chairman of that. So I reached out to some other board members and they advised me to kind of go that route.
Yeah, I don't think, it probably is premature to engage Farnsworth to do a full-blown scale, but square foot, you know, and square foot cost, he's got those numbers, I think, even on some of the preliminary, but.
Yeah.
Joe, that would be like, the square footage you're losing, that would be like adding an addition, an extension onto the newer building that we're keeping?
Yeah.
Some of the earlier plans.
That might just be a rectangle off the end of it. That might not be all that tough.
And we have that, I have that.
Yeah.
And is it something, you know, is that something that you wanna go with me, Mike, to do that as far as the county board?
Go with
or-
you
Yeah,
to the Humiston Trust?
yeah,
Oh, I've said all along, I'd be glad
okay. All right,
if I'm available, if not, somebody will.
Did you see that one? Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else for the good of the cause? Motion adjourned by May, seconded by Allen. All in favor? All opposed? I didn't hear anyone.
Sorry.
Chairs, I'm sorry, I got in there.
Was that Mason, the Allen on the bills?